Welcome back, guys. This is Jason, KM4ACK. Today, we're going to take a look at cleaning up our menu system on the Raspberry Pi. Stick around and we'll get right to it. Before we jump to today's content, I've got to give a shout out to these three. They are my latest patrons over on Patreon. If you'd like to help support the channel, I'll leave a link to Patreon down in the description below. Okay, so one of the things that drove me absolutely nuts when I first started getting into the Raspberry Pi was the way things integrated into the start menu system. So you can see right now I don't have a ham radio category and my applications are kind of all over the place. So under sound and video, I've got JS8 Call and WSJTX, but I don't have Chirp, and Chirp is installed on this machine. So there's Garum under Other. Here's Chirp down here under Accessories. This drives me mad. Now there is a way to go through the GUI system and kind of group these things together. But it's kind of hit or miss at best. I found I'll create something and it doesn't stick after a reboot or something goofy like that. So I'm going to show you guys how to clean this up and make this a lot better. It's a fairly easy process. So we're going to open a terminal window and then we're going to run sudo apt-get install extra -xdg menus, and we'll go ahead and hit the return button and let that run. And this is going to take care of about 90% of it, but then we're going to go through and do a little bit more to that as well. All right, so simply running that one command, let's just minimize that out of the way. Let's take a look. Now, all of a sudden, we have a ham radio folder here, or category, and all of our applications are inside of it. However, let's go back and look at this. Under sound and video, we still have some other things here that really doesn't belong in that category anymore. So JS8 Call and WSJTX are still under sound and video. Our other category did disappear, so that did move that one, but Chirp is still over here under accessories. So this takes a little bit more effort to get those changed around, but it's not too terribly difficult. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at JS8 Call in particular. So let's head back to our terminal window, clear that screen out. And we're going to move to this directory. We're going to say cd space /usr/share/applications. And once we're in that directory, tell you what, I'm going to maximize this because it's usually a lot of entries in here. Once we're in that directory, let's use our ls command to list out the directory. Now here this can take some just trial and error trying to find exactly what you're looking for depending on how the developer named things. But in this particular case, we've got JS8 Call right here. So that's the one that we want to work with. You'll see another one over here for WSJTX. Notice what you don't see here is an entry for Chirp. I'll show you how to find that in just a minute. There's another spot that some of these things can hide in. So right here, I'm just going to say sudo nano jas8call.desktop. We'll go ahead and press enter. And this last line here, the categories, that's the line that we're looking for. So I'm going to take out everything except ham radio, because that's a category that I want it to show up in. I don't need it showing up in all of the other categories. I'll press Control X, Y, and Enter to get out of that. And that's all there is to it. So we go up here. Let's look at ham radio. we'll still see JS8 call right here. But if we go back to sound and video, you'll notice now that JS8 call is no longer in this particular category. So now it lives in just the right category. Now, I mentioned chirp, and it was not located in that directory. So back in the terminal, let's clear that screen out. This time, let's go to CD, or change directory, /USR /local /share, gotta spell it right, applications. Hit the return button. So that's user, local, share, applications. Let's list out that directory, and now you'll see the chirp desktop entry. So let's do again sudo nano chirp.desktop, and we'll hit return on that, and look at all oh, I'm sorry, let's looking at the wrong thing there. Let's look at the categories again here, and let's take out everything but ham radio. Let's press Control X, Y, and Enter to get out of that. Now if we go back up and look under accessories, chirp is no longer there, and it resides in the correct location. Now, what if we don't have something in our menu that we want up there? Some developers choose, for whatever reason, not to put shortcuts up in the menu system. Let's look at a script that I wrote called patmenu. Not sure why the developer didn't, but he didn't put us a menu item up there. He just left a shortcut on the desktop. Well, maybe we prefer to have that up here in the menu system. Let's go take a look at how to do that. We'll go ahead and clear that screen out, and we need to verify that the application that we want to add to the menu is in our path. So to verify that, I'm going to type where is, all one word, space, patmenu, and hit return. And you'll see that it is in our path at, well, can't get that to cooperate. It is in our path at user, local, bin, and patmenu. So knowing that it is in our path, it's a fairly simple process here. Let's list out this directory again, and I'm going to kind of show you the quick and dirty way to do this. So we've already got this entry here for chirp. We're just going to copy that, and we're going to make some modifications to it for what we need. So let's do sudo cp for copy, chirp.desktop, and we're going to move or copy that to patmenu.desktop and hit return. Now if we run the ls command again, you'll see we have a new patmenu entry, but it's not set up correctly. So let's go ahead and set that up. So let's go into it with sudo nano patmenu.desktop. Now, because we copied this from the chirp shortcut, everything in here is set up for chirp. So right here under name, I'm going to change that to read patmenu. Under generic name, I really don't even think we need that generic name, so I'm just going to get rid of that line. Under the comment section, so when you hover over a menu item, it will give you, well, let's don't do that one since I've got it messed up right now. It gives you some extra information if you hover over it. So for FLRig, it just, the comment is amateur radio communications. If we go to JS8 call, amateur radio weak signal operating. That information that you see in the pop-up is coming from this comment right here. So I'm going to take this out and I'm going to say pat menu for Pat Winlink. We don't have an icon here, so I'm just going to get rid of that line. And where it says execute, we're going to execute the command that we looked for a while ago in the using the where is command. So it is just pat menu. Now, in this case, pat menu does need to be run in a terminal. And you may just have to experiment with this if you're uncertain. But I'm going to change terminal from false to true. And I'm going to get rid of this line here because, honestly, I'm not sure what that one is. And startup notify equals true. I don't need that either. And we're going to leave it in the ham radio category. And these keywords aren't correct, but we'll just leave them for the time being. Let's press Control X, Y, and Enter to get out of that. And let's go ahead and minimize that terminal. Now, under our ham radio, we have a new entry. Now, it's using a generic icon because we didn't give it an icon. If there was an icon available, or if you wanted to create one for it, you could put icon equals and the path for the icon, and you could pull the icon into the menu here. For this example, I just left it as a generic icon. You do see our comment there, pat menu for Pat Winlink, and if we click on that, we'll see the pat menu system that I wrote pop up ready to work with. Alright guys, I hope this helps you get your menu system kind of cleaned up and organized a bit better. We will see you on the next video. Until then, 7-3.